Can everyone on Zoom hear me? Raise your hand if you can hear me. Okay, amazing. I call this meeting to order at 7:10 p.m. on February 17th, 2026. So let's get this show on the road. We're going to pass around the attendance sheet. Also, do I have any amendments to the agenda to be made today? Please raise your hand. Chris Espino.
May we please scratch off academic success referendum fund and travel grant mini fund?
Yes, sir. All right, any other amendments to the agenda? Edison?
Yeah, could I strike CS Transport Fund allocations?
Yes.
And then I have another amendment.
All right.
I would like to motion to add CS mini funding allocations as a consent item.
All right. All right, can I get a second on that motion? Anyone second?
Second.
All right, Edison motions, Joyce seconds. All in favor of adding CS mini as an allocation, please raise your hand. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. All right, please lower your hands. All against? All abstaining? With a 10-0 vote, that passes. So let me add that. And you said it's CS Mini, Edison? Mm-hmm. All right, any other amendments to the agenda? Sherry?
Can we strike bag allocations, please?
Yes. Any other amendments? All right, I have one last amendment. I motion to add a letter calling for university response to Professor Mark Tramo's alleged ties to Jeffrey Epstein to the agenda. Can I get a second?
I second.
Was that Chris? Oh, Daniel. Okay, alrighty. Tommy motions, Daniel seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand. 4, 5. All right, all against, please raise your hand. All abstaining. With an 11-0 vote, that vote passes. Let me put that onto the agenda. All right. Any other last minute changes to the agenda? Going once, going twice. All right. I motion to approve the agenda for the 17th of February 2026. All in favor, please raise your hand. All right, all against? All abstaining? All right, with an 11-0 vote, that vote passes. The agenda is approved. We are now approving the minutes from last meeting. Does anybody have any questions or comments before those minutes are approved? All right, moving on to public comment. Is anybody here in person or on Zoom for public comment? All right, I think we only have you today, Calperg. So let me put up the timer, and then whenever that timer's up, you can feel free to get started. All right, whenever you're ready.
Hello. Hi guys, I'm Leila with CalFERG. I talked a little bit last week about our recent report on the cost of textbooks nationally, as well as our efforts to expand the open textbooks pilot program. But I wanted to expand on that a bit, especially since I'm leaving to lobby in DC this upcoming Monday on this, as well as a couple other issues. So just as a reminder, to combat the insane cost of textbooks that students face, the Open Textbooks program helps professors switch to open educational resources, which are textbooks that are peer-reviewed, but they're published under an open license, so they're free for students to access. And I want to ask for your guys' support in keeping this program funded by adding your names to our sign-on letter, which I sent you in an email. The voices of student leaders are really important on this issue and are a big reason why we've been able to keep the program funded since 2018. So asking for your guys' support on that. And then we are hoping to have a press conference on this as well, specifically on how this pertains to UCLA in week 9. So look out for that. But yeah, thank you guys so much.
I think your mic is off.
Is anyone else here for public comment? Going once, going twice. All right, I close public comment at 7:17 p.m. Moving on to funding allocations with contingency programming with Bethany.
Hi, this week we had a total contingency program request of $79,839, and we recommend an allocation of $28,923.09 for 2 USAC entities and 64 non-USAC entities. I've pasted it in the chat and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for Bethany? All right, then I motion to approve an allocation of $28,923.09 for 2 USAC entities and 64 non-USAC entities of capital contingency programming. Does anyone second?
I second.
All right, Tommy motions, Daniel seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand. All right, all against, all abstaining. With an 11-0 vote, that vote passes. All right, moving on to SFS allocations.
Yeah, so this week SFS recommends an allocation of $4,349.79 to 5 USAC entities and 8 non-USAC entities.
All right, thank you for that. Moving on to SWC programming fund allocations with Hannah.
Hi everyone, my name is Morley Palacios. I'm stepping in for Hannah today. This week, the SWC Programming Fund recommends an allocation of $750 to 1 non-USAC entity.
All right, thank you so much. Moving on to ARC allocations with Divine.
I'll be calling for Divine. ARC recommends this week $1,000 to 1 non-USAC entity.
All right, thank you. Moving on to TGIF with Joy.
TGIF recommends an allocation of $11,250 to 0 non-USAC entities and 2 USAC entities.
Thank you. Moving on to CS Mini Fund with Edison.
Yeah, so this week CS Mini recommends an allocation of $15,935.83 to 6 USAC entities and 49 non-USAC entities.
Would you be able to do the motion for that?
Okay, yeah. I motion to approve the CS Mini allocation of $15,935.83 to 6 USAC entities and 49 non-USAC entities.
I second. All in favor, please raise your hand. Right. And then all against, please raise your hand. Okay, all abstaining. With a 10-0 vote, that vote passes. Moving on to officer reports. We will keep it to just execs today. Yeah, all right. So Diego's not here. IVP. This Thursday, we are hosting the True Brew and Raise Awards. So that's going to be really exciting to recognize individuals who have helped people on campus and on the Hill through mental health crises and just been in support. So we're recognizing those amazing recipients this week. And I think that's only the major update coming out of IVP. So moving on to EVP with Sherry.
Mostly all written today. The only thing is, if anyone's listening, for all of you, where our office is having a ton of lobbying opportunities come out. And so if that's something that interests you, look at our Instagram. But yeah, everything else is written. Thanks.
All right, academic affairs, Chris Espino.
Written for tonight. Thank you.
All right, administrative reps, Orlando.
Hello, everyone. No updates, just thank you all for those that were able to attend the Student Region breakfast. It was very helpful. I really appreciate you all being there. The day went really well and definitely kicked it off right with the USAC GSA meeting. Thanks a lot.
So much. Moving on, Lorelai.
Oh no, it's me. Sorry, you're right. Just want to make sure she wasn't missed. Sorry. Nothing from me. Keep an eye on your email and Slack in the case that something that I'm unaware of, as Jonathan is out today, comes up and we need it to be brought to your attention. But otherwise, have a good night tonight.
Thanks.
Sorry, I did forget one update. Apologize. Speaking of the Student Region, if you are applying, don't forget the application deadline is March 8th. You feel free to reach out to me or Sonia if you have any questions. That's it. Thanks.
Yes, please apply. Lori.
I have nothing. Have a good night.
Jonathan and Peter not here. So moving on to new business, our one item. So today I'll read the letter just because, yeah, I feel like it's something that should be on the record and that people should know. But basically, this letter is calling for a university response to Professor Mark Tramo's alleged ties to Jeffrey Epstein. So this letter is addressed to Chancellor Frank and members of UCLA administration. On January 30th, 2026, the United States Department of Justice released more than 3.5 million pages of documents pursuant to the Epstein Files Transparency Act relating to the activities and associations of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Materials contained within this release reference communications involving Dr. Mark Tramo, an associate adjunct professor of neurology and the director of the Institute for Music and Brain Science at the University of California, Los Angeles, or UCLA. According to publicly reported accounts of these materials, Dr. Tramo is described as having maintained a professional and personal association with Epstein between approximately 2007 and 2019, including a period following Epstein's 2008 guilty plea and conviction for charges related to prostitution, including solicitation involving a minor. Dr. Tramo has publicly stated that he was unaware of Epstein's alleged sexual misconduct involving minors. Nevertheless, communications attributed to Dr. Tramo and reference and reporting on the released materials have raised concerns within the university community regarding the nature and appropriateness of this association. These matters remain allegations drawn from publicly released documents and warrant careful, impartial review through established university processes. As a world-class public university, UCLA has a heightened duty of care to maintain a safe learning and working environment for all members of its community. This obligation is particularly significant given that UCLA enrolls and hosts individuals under the age of 18 through early admissions programs, summer initiatives, outreach activities, and other campus programs involving minors, thereby increasing the university's safeguarding responsibilities and potential institutional liability. Allegations involving associations with individuals convicted of crimes involving minors therefore raise serious concerns not only for community trust, but also for risk management and the university's legal and ethical responsibility to maintain a secure educational environment. Reports surrounding these allegations have already affected the academic climate, with some students avoiding contact, classes, experiencing disruption, and broader campus concern emerging. Because student-faculty relationships depend fundamentally on trust and professional integrity, circumstances that undermine student confidence may compromise both the learning environment and the university's obligation to ensure student safety and well-being. Reports describing the released materials indicate that correspondence between Dr. Tramo and Epstein allegedly continued after Epstein's conviction and included exchanges that some observers have characterized as inappropriate in tone. Additional reporting has alleged that student communications may have been shared with these exchanges. In one such instance, Epstein asked Tramo if the students whose emails he forwarded to him were cute. While these emails have not been adjudicated, their circulation has generated significant concern among students and has reportedly contributed to class disruptions, protests, and avoidance of academic engagement. Regardless of ultimate findings, such circumstances may materially affect students' sense of safety and confidence in the academic environment. Considering the severity and nature of Professor Tramo's alleged behavior, there is reason to believe that workplace safety is threatened and that his credibility as a leader and scholar has been eroded. UCLA has previously placed employees on administrative leave in response to controversies that the university has determined warranted interim action while institutional concerns were addressed. In 2025, the university placed Director of Race and Equity, Jonathan Perkins, on administrative leave and subsequently terminated him following comments made regarding the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Members of the campus community expressed differing perspectives regarding that decision. However, the action demonstrated that administrative leave has been used as a precautionary measure even in circumstances involving contested speech rather than alleged associations, raising student safety concerns. Referencing this precedent is not intended to evaluate that prior case, but rather to highlight the importance of consistency in the university's application of interim protective measures. Given that administrative leave has previously been implemented in situations presenting comparatively fewer direct implications for student safety, it is reasonable for the university to consider similar interim action here while a thorough and impartial review is conducted. Accordingly, we call on UCLA administration to promptly and transparently address the concerns raised by these recently released materials. Specifically, we call upon the university to initiate a formal review consistent with university policy and to place Dr. Mark Tramo on administrative leave pending the outcome of an independent investigation. Such a measure would not constitute a presumption of wrongdoing, but rather would reflect a prudent interim step designated to protect students, uphold institutional integrity, and ensure due process for all parties involved. UCLA's failure to acknowledge Professor Tramo's alleged connection to Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted sex offender, stains UCLA's credibility, tarnishes its reputation, and disrespects the greater UCLA community. Thus, we urge the university to immediately place Professor Mark Tramo on administrative leave pending further investigation. Timely and transparent action will reaffirm UCLA's commitment to safeguarding its students, including minors, while maintaining the standards of accountability and fairness expected of a leading public university. Sincerely, the Undergraduate Student Association Council. Any comments or concerns? All right, then move for a vote. I motion to approve a letter calling for university response to Professor Mark Tramo's alleged ties to Jeffrey Epstein. All in favor, please raise your hand. 3. All right. All against. Oh, wait, second. Who seconds?
I'll second.
Daniel seconds. Tommy motions. Daniel seconds. All in favor. All right. All against. All abstaining. With a 10-0 vote, that vote passes. I now adjourn this meeting at 7:28 p.m. Oh my gosh. So yeah, thank you all.